Tell us about what we're gonna get ourselves in here today. You have a video. You prepared part one for us. It's kind of like a film noir. I would even describe it as.
Yeah, so it's a series that is going to evolve as it is made. I will be taking in any information that comes my way. I want to be a neutral journalist while making it, and I think it could potentially just come off as a tribute piece in a way that sort of just teaches valuable lessons as I learn them, and I will share it. But also, I'm open to anything I learn, and so we will really see how it goes. And I'm hoping that there is some genuine change on my end, and even a discovery of change
on his side. End. We're of course talking about Charlie Puth, who is one I would describe maybe as your arch nemesis or
my teenage arch nemesis.
Yeah.
Currently, I don't want to label him as anything. I do have, if I'm being the most honest, mixed feelings, but I want to just be open to anything. So I would like to become friends with him, actually, but also we'll see.
So you think like you obviously have a bias against Charlie Puth for the meanness he's thrust on you, but you want to try to overcome that as a impartial journalist.
Yes, and also I think on an unconscious level, because on the surface level, I'll just say, no, I'm fine. That's years ago. But I think that it's important to be honest with yourself, and so we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I definitely think of him as a villain of some sort. And if I can even ask, what's the deal with his eyebrow? Because it almost looks like a style, but then when you go back in time, it looks like he has a scar or something from the eyebrow.
Yes, he has a scar from a dog attack from when he was 2. I've been learning a lot about him lately. Wow. So I think it was almost life-threatening.
Whoa.
Wow. So that kind of that is interesting. Do you know if he has a dog phobia to this day, or is he all good with dogs?
I haven't seen any videos of him with dogs, so I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, here's what I propose. Let's watch part 1, and then we can discuss from there. So without further ado, we have The Truth About Puth, part 1, the beginning of an epic journey of discovery.
Charlie Puth is one of the most successful up-and-coming pop stars, performing duets with everyone from Meghan Trainor to Pitbull, and recording 4 multi-platinum hits. I'm Dax Flame, actor, author, and most importantly, one of the original YouTube stars. Back in 2007, when Charlie was still a complete unknown and I was at the height of my YouTube fame, Charlie used to send me very discouraging hate messages about my singing voice. I received thousands of comments and messages like these, but Charlie's might have been most vicious, and to this day, I'm still too shy to sing in front of anyone. But I'm not perfect. The same year that Charlie sent me those messages, I actually made a video jealously hating on many YouTubers who had more subscribers than me. I don't get it. I know that I've completely changed as a person since recording that toxic video, and so I'm assuming that Charlie has too since sending his messages. But I don't know that he's changed. As a matter of fact, I don't know much about him at all, and I'd like to find out. Before I share my goal for this series with you, I'd like to share what my goal is not. My goal is not revenge. My goal is not to accuse him of anything or to drag him down. My goal is not to slander his name. My goal is understanding.
Layering like 15 different synths in the record was pretty exciting. Hello, Mom. No, that's okay.
When I listen to Charlie's music and watch interviews with him, I get the impression that he's a very talented and funny pop star. Someone who I could actually see myself being friends with and hanging out with.
How is Charlie Puth? You know, probably nervous most of the time, but pretty nice guy.
If this impression is accurate, if he's the same in person as he appears in interviews, then I'd like to understand the journey he underwent to becoming who he is now from who he used to be. I will be open to any and all information that comes my way, positive or negative, But my hope is that over the course of this series, I'm able to conduct interviews with those closest to Charlie, confirming my impression that he's actually a very great person, and that I'm able to learn about what steps he took to change, and that I'm able to confront my insecurities over singing, and maybe even explore music as a potential outlet, while also additionally maybe even meeting up with Charlie and exchanging apologies over the past, and potentially becoming friends, and also delivering some helpful life lessons to viewers along the way.
Wow.
Lastly, this is not just a series for Charlie Puth fans. This is a series for anyone interested in the themes of personal growth, forgiveness, overcoming insecurities, dealing with the internet hatred, following your dreams, forming friendships, having courage, and ultimately, whether or not people really change.
Let me look at this comment. First of all, I'm moved.
Or not. Oh,
So-
cool.
And that was sent to you directly, or it was a comment on a video?
I would receive messages from him.
Oh.
I think
And that was like,
I think it was a brief exchange of messages. I received thousands of comments and messages that were hate, as everyone does. But I think since his resonated more, because normally with those you push them to the back of your mind, but whenever you see this public figure come and that you can't avoid them, then it brings those things that you push back up to the surface. So yeah.
So at the time he sent you this comment, which I'll read in a moment, was he at all famous?
Well, you don't have to read that.
Oh, I'm going to read it. But when he sent you this message, was he at all famous, or was he a nobody?
No, he was not famous. And that is the interesting thing to me is the reasons behind it. And I've actually, in a future episode, I'm hoping to interview someone who was close with him back then. That I recently discovered.
Ooh, that's exciting.
But yeah, we could discover great things about him. Maybe it was a misunderstanding.
Totally.
Or maybe we'll discover more dark stuff. But the scary thing is, like, there's so many people, whenever someone is that famous and is generating that much income and stuff, there's so many people who rely on him too, who will want to stop me if there is anything to hide.
Oh.
So hopefully there is nothing to hide. And like that's like my just being paranoid. But
No, that's a really good point. It's a huge.
But also maybe he has nothing to hide, and we'll just discover great things.
Right.
But either way, he should know we're digging.
Yeah, for sure. And digging for goodness, like
or
and
badness,
understanding.
whatever's there, we're
Understanding.
digging. Sometimes when you dig, you just don't know what you're going to unearth, and I think that's what he needs to be aware of.
Yes.
Well, and then again, I do think because he wasn't famous, I do think it's worth mentioning that this may not even have been him.
Yeah, there could be another Charlie Puth.
Do you remember the avatar? Do you remember the face? Like, how sure are you that this is the same Puth that sent the message? Because
I remember it was a YouTube musician.
Yeah.
Who wanted to be famous, who had the name Puth, because that's such a memorable name. So if anyone questions the validity, I think it's like you'll just have to trust me, and once I meet him, he'll confirm. And yeah, we'll see how it goes.
That's convincing.
Yeah.
So basically,
I remember like a purple sort of avatar or something. But more than that, I just remember his name, and I remember a hateful connotation to it, to the interaction. Quite like messages, quite negative.
The thing about sending a direct message too is like it's more hateful. It's more personal.
It's hidden also.
It's what?
Hidden.
And it's hidden, right?
It's in a way more mean than a public comment. Because the public comment, you almost don't even assume that the person will actually read it in a way.
Yeah.
Like when
and it also implies the question. He publicly seems to have changed. When I watch interviews, like I get a genuine instinct. This is a nice person, and I would like to know him. But also, there's lots of nice people, so I can meet lots of nice people. But
yeah.
If he was doing that in public back then, is he still doing something, or in private back then? Is he still doing something in private now?
That's a good question.
Probably not. But it's just interesting. These will be like what makes it interesting.
Let me read the
And
comment.
also, I would like to talk to a therapist for like, if any of your audience is a therapist, for a future episode, if they are interested to meet me in public, I could interview them about some potential things, and I could pay them like for their time or whatever.
No, I think we're working on finding someone for that already.
Okay.
Let me read the comment. Your voice makes me sick. Your latest singing video was the most embarrassing thing I've seen.
This is just the gist of what his messages were.
Oh, so he sent you multiple messages.
I think there were maybe, if I'm remembering correctly, it was one brief exchange of maybe 2 or 3 messages.
And so when he sent you a message like this, how did you respond?
I would probably responded angrily back.
Yeah. Man, I'd kill to read that.
I don't remember what I said.
Can you like what's a comment that you at that age would have said to him? Can you kind of like go back to that?
If could you read me the first sentence of what I wrote?
Yeah.
What is written there?
Your voice makes me sick. Your latest singing video was the most embarrassing thing I've ever seen.
So I probably would have said like, I have a great singing voice. If my voice is not good, why do I get all these views? And probably would have like, and maybe I would have attacked him too. I don't remember. Probably not actually, but yeah. I think deep down I kind of knew I wasn't the best singer, but I really genuinely enjoyed it.
Let me continue. The only reason you're on the most subscribed list is because people laugh at you. Your voice is almost as ugly as your face. You would lose in any fight, and you should be embarrassed to have a voice so sad. It was like nails on a chalkboard, and you'll never be a professional musician.
This is a recreation.
You should be ashamed of yourself. And then it says recreation message, because the messages have been lost to time. But the pain is what matters, Hila. Like you're recreating, the pain is real, and you're reinterpreting that.
So this is a recreation based on your memory of the.
I'm really reluctant to even say that it's a recreation. I just wanted to say that for legal purposes.
Yeah.
Because I think that the reason the message, I know that immediately people will question the validity once they realize that. The reason that it is a recreation, though, is because YouTube deleted all of the messages. Direct messaging is no longer a option. Whereas like on Instagram, you can DM someone. YouTube used to have that. Now they don't. So I received messages from him and they were like that. They could have been worse. I originally wrote a draft of that. Feel free to edit any of this out too. I originally wrote a draft of that was even harsher based off my memory. But I didn't want to like have it, like I didn't want to use the F word in it, or I don't remember if he actually did or whatever.
Well, I think you conveyed it well, certainly. And I mean, that those are some bitter, hurtful words. That's a young man who's clearly just very jealous of your success, I would say, and someone who is who thinks they deserve your success, and they don't understand. And
were you dealing with a crazy amount of hate at that time?
Oh yeah, for sure. But the reason that someone like those messages would stick out a bit more is maybe just because he became famous later, and also they were very targeting my singing voice, which wasn't as targeted by hate back then.
So I realized that Puth, I'm just putting this together, was on the feature of Wiz Khalifa See You Again, which is like you said is the third most popular video on YouTube.
YouTube video of all time, and maybe the most popular on Spotify of all time.
5 billion almost. So the Puth has been out here. He's been out here.
So obviously we can't play it, but this is the song that was the Paul Walker.
Yeah, rest in peace, Paul Walker song. Why is that funny, Dan? How dare you? Why would you laugh about Rest in Peace, Paul Walker? Do you know how much that affected people? 5 billion views?
I'm just thinking back to our guest the other week who wanted to erect the Paul Walker statue.
Okay.
So this is Furious 7.
Well, I don't know why you find that funny either. Furious 7. Wow, how many Furiouses are we up to, man? That was Furious 7? That happened so long ago, and they're still making those movies.
So I feel like now I get a lot more context to
Yeah, you can't
you
escape
saying
that.
yeah, exactly, that you can't escape it. I'm
That
so
song,
familiar
plays
with this
everywhere.
song.
Grocery stores, restaurants,
Right.
anywhere you go. Graduation ceremonies, I'm sure.
Would you like possibly for Charlie Puth to sing "See You Again" at your funeral?
Well, I don't want to think about my death.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
In the time of Corona.
Yeah.
Good. Right.
But it would
theoretically, if I died, yeah, sure, it'd be great if we became friends actually, and I happened to pass away while he still had a great voice and stuff. Then yeah, that'd be great if he sang it at my funeral.
Do you think that?
And that would be a great healing moment too. It would just prove
even
that
though
you
you're
can
dead.
overcome things.
I said even though you'd be dead, it would still be a great healing moment.
It would prove that we had healed already, or maybe it would be just healing for him if it wasn't. And that would be sad if we never made up, and then
he just showed up.
That was how he had.
That'd be weird. Do you think that you would share? Is it okay for you to share that song with Paul Walker, or maybe he should write a new one for you at your funeral? Like it would be called, because it's called "See You Again." Maybe yours could be called "I'm Sorry" and "Goodbye."
Yeah. He could just cover Justin Bieber's "Sorry" song.
Just "I'm Sorry" and "Goodbye." Yeah, we'll think about that. Maybe it'd be cool if you wrote a song for your funeral, like. Actually,
I would appreciate that because that would prove that before passing, we had come to some sort of meeting point and healed.
Yes.
It would be darker if I had passed away and he just showed up and sang it for his own healing purposes while everyone there knows that I had beef with him. So that would be the bad version of it. But yeah, the other one, theoretically.
That'd be wild if Puth just showed up unannounced to your funeral. Seeing Puth become famous resurfaced with him a lot of these negative feelings you associate with being hated on the internet so long ago.
Yeah, going into a restaurant and hearing "See You Again" come on, or hearing it come on over the speakers. All of a sudden I'm taken back to theoretically what could have been a different career path through. Well, I don't even want to go there and say that I could have had a music career, but it is a thought in my mind.
So, but it's almost like a PTSD trigger where I almost wonder if you even have a law. You could probably even sue him for inflicting emotional pain on you because the more successful he becomes, the more damaging he is to you every time you hear him on the radio.
Well, I don't think I'm going to try to sue him because
theoretically,
I might be a changed person and I would like him to have a good life and hopefully become friends with him. But that is an interesting thought.
Yeah. We could end the series with either a reunion or a lawsuit.
If you'll pay for the lawsuit, I don't know if I want to.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to either. Lawsuits are a pain in the ass, man. But let's see, maybe we could do a GoFundMe and see how badly people want you to sue Charlie. I'm thinking we would.
But you think that you guys could be friends? What do you think?
I think Dax can be friends with anybody if I can answer for you. I don't know that this Puth guy. I don't know if he's ready to be friends.
I don't know. That'll be interesting to find out. But
do you have anything that's sorry, I cut you off.
Oh no, go ahead.
Do you have anything that would be a deal breaker if he's he wants to play video games all the time and you're like, I'm out? Or
you mean if you want to be real friends with him?
He's all about smoking weed and you're not.
Yeah. Well, I don't see us hanging out every day or anything. I'm sure he's super busy, and also there's Corona, so I would be a backyard hang if anything. But it could start from there, start from a hey, interview for this web series and clear up the past and apologize. And that is important to note that there was never an apology. Not that it's the biggest deal, but we'll see.
We need an apology because those are hurtful words, and I mean, I think our goals need to be apology.
a backyard
at the
hangout.
very least, an apology. Okay. And then at the very best, a duet. At the very worst, a lawsuit. and I'm hoping that there's tabloids and papers. We should send this out, this clip too, to tabloids and shit, because they kind of
maybe we should wait till there's a better conclusion, right? Or whatever.
No, I want the story. I just want people to kind of get it on the radar that, maybe there's more than meets the eye to this Puth character.
That's cool. And honestly, I do see it having very positive. I want to be open to anything, but I do see it having a very positive feel. And I do think like it's the last 20 seconds of the video you played is supposed to evoke the exciting, inspiring effects that the series could have.
Right.